Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. In today's Blower 24, Koni wrote that elections in Zimbabwe without reforms will be suicidal. Totally agree with him. But if the truth be said, he's not the first one to say it. We've heard this from many other people, notably David Coulthard. In his book, The Struggle Continues, 50 Years of Tyranny, this is what Coulthard said about Zimbabwe's elections. He admitted that the election process was so flawed, so illegal, that the only logical step was to withdraw. And yet, he went on to explain he and his colleagues did not withdraw. They went on to participate because they also knew that ZANU-PF was offering a few gravy train seats to entice the opposition to participate. They could not trust MDCT, their main rivals, to withdraw. And no doubt, MDCT did not trust Coulthard and his MDCN group to withdraw. So they all went and participated. So to come back to Koni's quotation, it is suicidal to keep participating in flawed elections. He's absolutely right. But the question that Koni should have asked is, why do we keep on participating? Or to put it differently, it is suicidal to whom? Certainly not Chamisa and company, much less Mnangagwa and his ZANU-PF colleagues. You have to be absolutely crazy to think that Chamisa and company would participate in a suicidal mission. They have to be crazy. Why would they want to commit suicide? I think this is at the heart of why we are in this mess. The failure by some of our people to accept the reality that the opposition are not committing suicide. Chamisa lied about Triple C winning big in 2023, claiming that he had plugged all the vote-rigging loopholes to stop ZANU-PF rigging the elections. Hashtag God is in it. He even invoked the name of God. He did not do that to commit suicide. He knew what he was doing. He and his colleagues were determined to participate in the flawed elections for their share of the spoils of power. To pretend otherwise is just nonsensical. Of course they knew that. They had to entice, to con their followers to believe that they will win. Because the more they entice them, they con them, the more of the gravy train seats they would win. And that is exactly what they did. I think one of the most disappointing realities here is that many Zimbabweans continue to pretend that they don't know what is going on. Here is Margaret Dongo explaining why MDC Triple C guys participated in these flawed elections.
You know, politics is not a business. This is what I want to remind most of our MPs and other people.
Do you think they look at it as a business?
Yes, they look at it as a business. Because they look at it as a business seriously. Because the moment they go, business and employment creation. Because if they go to parliament, you are employed. You get a car, you get a stable salary, and you are paid until your term is over. Already you are employed. If you are out, you're out of employment.
If you serve 2 terms, you get a pension?
You get a pension. Then already, this is why people kill in politics. They kill to be in parliament. This is why we have violence in this country. Because there is no employment. The only employment which is there is in politics. There is no other outside employment. So for them, a very good example is, look at what happened to CCC, the Triple C party. Have a look. When they lost, when they said they were rigged, what I expected from them, I expected all parliamentarians to say, we are not going to go to participate in a rigged system. And we are not going to sit in a rigged parliament. Because the elections have been rigged. So all of us were not going to parliament. Imagine what could have happened. We could have gone into new elections. There's no way ZANU-PF was going to rule alone.
You think so?
Yes.
Do they care?
Caring or not caring, the public would have forced them because the majority of the people would want representation in parliament.
But they went anyway?
But they went. They realized that, you heard them complain, I used my own money to be in parliament. But what about me who have voted for you? I used my own money. So the idea is to recover. Is it a business where you want to recover your losses? Is it a business? Politics, is it a business where everyone else, when you get in parliament, you want to recover your losses? A good example is now, parliament.
The truth of the matter is, she's absolutely right. The opposition have been participating in these flawed elections, knowing fully well that the process is flawed, knowing fully well that it's suicidal. But they have continued to participate because as long as they got their share of the spoils of power, they were willing to go along. In fact, in terms of implementing the reforms, what many Zimbabweans missed is that the 2008 to 2013 GNU was the golden opportunity for Zimbabwe or the opposition to implement the democratic reforms. Mugabe bribed Morgan Tsvangirai and his colleagues with the trappings of high office, and they forgot about the reforms. They did not even submit one reform proposal in 5 years of the GNU. And at the end of it, they realized they'd sold out. And so they changed tune. They now suddenly said, oh, we can win rigged elections. We have strategies of winning rigged elections. And unfortunately, their followers believed them. All MDC CCC guys have been doing is participating in flawed elections, knowing fully well that they are flawed, knowing fully well that the only logical step was to withdraw, but they would not withdraw out of greed. Why some people keep on pretending that they don't know what is happening here beggars belief. It really beggars belief. These opposition guys are not fighting each other to be in parliament to commit suicide. They're fighting to be the one to get the benefits of being in parliament. Mnangagwa knows very well that as long as he allows the opposition to win a few gravy train seats, they will participate in these flawed elections no matter what. So to come back to our original session, to what Koni said, 2028 is around the corner. And getting into that election without reforms would be suicidal at its highest order. Suicidal to whom? Certainly not Nelson Chamisa and company. And much less so Mnangagwa and company. MDC CCC is ZANU-PF Team B in all but name. They've been playing for ZANU-PF Team A to win and to have legitimacy. As long as they get their share of the spoils of power. The real people who are committing suicide here in participating in these elections and perpetuating the dictatorship are the voters. We, the people, are the ones who are paying the price for it. What we need is an electorate that is smart enough to realize that after 25 years of MDC CCC leaders in power, they have not implemented even one token reform. And the starting point is for the electorate, for ordinary Zimbabweans out there, to finally admit that Nelson Chamisa lied to them. When he said he had plugged the vote rigging loopholes, hashtag God is in it, he was lying. why this has become impossible for some people to accept beggars belief. And no doubt the opposition, Nelson Chamisa and company, have exploited that weakness in the ordinary voters. The people of Zimbabwe have to wake up. They have to open their eyes and their minds to the political reality of repeated political suicide in participating in flawed elections only to give ZANU-PF legitimacy and perpetuate the dictatorship and their own suffering. The suicide, the people who are committing suicide are the people themselves, the ordinary Zimbabweans. And the first act of that suicidal is refusing to accept that Chamisa lied, conned them. Here is a favorite video clip that I've often played of Chamisa claiming that he was going to start forming his own new cabinet.
Makorokoto Zimbabwe nokuti hakuna munhu anomira kana denga raronga plan. Denga raronga plan, denga harifo iri. Plan ya Mwari haifo iri. Ini ndatanga kugadzira cabinet. There is no way we are not going to form a new cabinet. There is no way we are not going to have a celebration. There is no way we are not going to have an inauguration. Let's start preparing for our inauguration. Let's start preparing for our celebration.
Chamisa was lying. He was lying that Triple C was going to win big. He knew ZANU-PF was rigging these elections. It turns out that he didn't even do some of the most basic things to stop ZANU-PF rigging the elections. He did not deploy election agencies at all the polling stations, for example. Not because he didn't have the money. He was given the money. He pocketed the money. Because he knew ZANU-PF was rigging the elections. He was earning himself a few easy money, easy bucks here. Here is one instance when Chamisa was taken to task for lying.
Ende patakasangana na Trump akatibvunza nawe akomana mari yamuri kuda kuti nyika ifambe imari.
Serious questions were raised about your behaviour in Washington, D.C. You did see some senior people on Capitol Hill, some Congress people, but you also claimed that you'd seen Donald Trump. You claimed you had a conversation with him in which you said he asked you how much you needed to move the country forward. You told him $15 billion, and he said to you that he would provide the money if you won the election. That was not true, was it?
Sangana na Trump akatibvunza nawe akomana mari yamuri kuda kuti nyika ifambe imari.
It was not true that you'd seen Donald Trump and that Donald Trump indicated to you that he would provide, if you won the election, $15 billion.
All those statements were said by other people, not what I said.
Kasangana na Trump akatibvunza nawe akomana mari yamuri kuda kuti nyika ifambe imari.
Well, no, because there is a video which shows you at a rally in January back home in Zimbabwe saying that Donald Trump had pretty much promised you $15 billion. To be clear, because some people in Zimbabwe are still confused, you're now telling me you did not meet Donald Trump.
We did not.
So we come back to where we started. Participating in 2028 elections will be suicidal. I totally agree with Koni there. What we must ask ourselves is suicide to who Who is committing suicide here? And the honest truth is, it is not Shamisa and company, and certainly not Mnangagwa and his ZANU-PF cronies. We, the ordinary Zimbabweans, are the ones committing suicide. After 45 years of rigged elections, it is insane to keep committing suicide. There is absolutely no excuse for participating in 2028 without reform. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.